T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his action.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
This might be one of the darkest twists we've ever seen in a celebrity saga. Not even the Harris family's long list of scandals compares to what's unfolding right now.
He's like that, so him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, it just, he.
King Harris is fighting for his life in intensive care after what insiders are calling a savage beatdown inside a Georgia prison. Reports say the attack was so vicious, it looked straight out of a gangland movie. King was left bloody and barely conscious, dragged under armed escort to the infirmary as chaos exploded in his block. Guards struggled to lock it down, but the damage was already done, and the Harris family is spiraling in full panic mode.
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle.
Right.
That does come with some, you know, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your business.
Yeah.
Don't think for a second this was some random fistfight or casual initiation. Word inside says it was a cold, calculated ambush. Inmates allegedly plotted it out, making King a target to prove that fame doesn't buy safety once you're behind those bars. This wasn't just violence, it was a statement.
I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral. I'm not on the media's good side. I don't know why, but it ain't.
And the internet? It's gone absolutely wild. Social feeds are drowning in live commentary, speculation, and straight-up conspiracy theories. Some of the earliest whispers claimed King had been marked weeks ago, his enemies waiting for the perfect moment to strike. One person close to the Harris circle says King was set up for humiliation, while another insider tied to prison staff claims King was already hated behind the walls.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
They say inmates resented his family's fame and his loud attitude, acting like he ran the place when in reality, he was too flashy, too proud, and way too soft for that kind of world. All of a sudden, the threats became deadly real, and the Harris family snapped into full-blown crisis mode. Sources say T.I. hasn't closed his eyes since the attack, pacing the floors and burning up phones. He's begging attorneys, politicians, even old rivals, anyone with pull inside the Georgia DOC.
So the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this in the public.
Word is, he's already willing to sign checks, cut deals, and agree to any hush-hush promise just to drag his son out before it's too late. The image of the King of the South has never looked shakier.
And you can, you know what I'm saying, kind of woo-saw yourself outside of the public opinion.
Behind the scenes, T.I. is crumbling under pressure, while Tiny has turned into her own general, reportedly running a private war room with publicists and lawyers on speed dial. But insiders whisper their so-called united front is cracking. Arguments are flying, voices raised, and friends don't know if they're fighting to save King or just fighting each other while their boy's future hangs by a thread.
I really admire his dedication and commitment to the craft, because, you know, I kind of told him, you know, what was wrong about it.
And here's where the story flips from family tragedy to something way more sinister. Rumors are swirling that this wasn't about trash talk or some minor disrespect. It might be tied to a failed contraband move inside those prison walls. Multiple sources hint King either refused to get down with the program or, worse, tried to outsmart the wrong crew.
Making mistakes. I ain't had no daddy who'll pull up and get on my ass anytime. Things I did, you can't get away with.
I know that. So was this chaos sparked by a petty beef gone too far, or was King Harris deliberately set up as payback? People close to the investigation are whispering about evidence of a trap. King allegedly lured to a certain spot where at least 3 inmates were waiting.
Man, damn. Yeah, that's I ain't see that one coming. You know
Really?
what I mean? Nah, I didn't.
And the wildest part? Cameras in that area just happened to malfunction right when the attack went down. The Department of Corrections is flat out denying any camera glitch. But a former road manager for T.I. dropped a chilling line. It's Georgia. Cameras break when they need to break. That's all you need to know. With King's condition still unstable, the Harris family's panic has now spilled straight onto social media. We've seen the Harris clan circle the wagons before, but never with this level of tension. Fans still remember that viral Falcons game disaster when T.I. locked his own son in a headlock during an argument streamed live on Instagram. "You are embarrassing yourself and your family," T.I. barked as security rushed in, and Tiny tried to calm the storm. That was supposed to be King's rock bottom. But now, with him laid out in a hospital bed and the family's drama blasted across the internet, that moment feels more like a preview of something much darker. Inside those prison walls, King's situation was never safe. But lately, it turned flat out toxic. Sources say inmates constantly taunted him about his parents' scandals, especially the shadow of those trafficking allegations that still haunt T.I. and Tiny. And instead of laying low, King reportedly made things worse by flexing online, throwing shots, and hyping himself as Atlanta's next big thing. The older inmates weren't impressed. One ex-prisoner put it bluntly, "We're not here for the reality show. We don't care who your daddy is. If you don't pay up or you run your mouth, you get handled." That's the law inside, and King just learned it the brutal way. Meanwhile, on the outside, T.I. is throwing every card he's got on the table. Word is, he's threatened to blow the whistle on prison conditions, while his camp is quietly feeding stories to friendly media outlets, trying to flip the narrative before it's too late. The Harris team is doing everything to spin this. Blame the corrupt system, not King. It's a classic celebrity crisis move. But the burning question remains, is it too late to save him? Behind all the rushed PR and legal scrambling, a darker truth lingers. What happens when you raise a son to think he's untouchable, only for reality to swing back harder than ever? And fueling that fire are whispers from not 1, not 2, but 3 industry veterans claiming the Harris family's old legal demons put an even bigger target on King's back. His name reportedly kept popping up in those infamous trafficking allegations, with accusers hinting the family's problems ran deeper than anyone knew. Sabrina Peterson, the former friend who sparked the storm, even threatened to unload receipts that would drag not just T.I. and Tiny, but King himself into quicksand. The feds never pressed charges, but in the court of public opinion, that stain sticks forever. While the legal squad races to bury one scandal, another explodes. Whispers spread about a secret deal, King's name allegedly showing up in a contraband ledger, a broken promise, and then the deadliest rumor of all, that he snitched or backed out of a payment. Whether it's prison gossip or the ugly truth, insiders say one thing's certain: the price for crossing the wrong crew is always paid in blood. Pile on his privileged upbringing, his reality TV past, and his parents' long-running controversies, and it's no wonder King turned into a lightning rod for every grudge in that cell block. Meanwhile, T.I. and Tiny are cracking under the pressure like never before. Behind closed doors, it's a powder keg ready to blow. Tiny's said to be pushing for compassion, blaming the system and bad influences, while T.I. is getting more aggressive, convinced only money, power, and brute force can save their boy. One insider didn't hold back, calling this the worst crisis the couple has ever faced, worse than the show being canceled, worse than the lawsuits, and worse than that viral headlock humiliation. The emotional wreckage is brutal. Both T.I. and Tiny are lashing out, and the rest of the Harris clan is trapped in the crossfire. If you pull back, the stakes couldn't be bigger. King, once the pampered wildcard of the dynasty, now stares down a reality no fame could shield him from. Every headline, every frantic phone call from his father makes us ask, are we witnessing the setup for a redemption story, or the slow collapse of an entire family brand? And the deeper we dig, the clearer it gets. This attack might only be the beginning. The ugliest details of what really happens when a celebrity name gets tossed into the concrete jungle are still lurking in the shadows, waiting to explode. Prison doesn't care about record sales, luxury cars, or famous parents. Inside those walls, the code is different, carved in stone and enforced in blood. King Harris is just the latest to discover the cold reality. Respect isn't bought with autographs or Instagram clout. It's earned through loyalty and silence. And when you break that code, the punishment comes fast and merciless. For high-profile inmates, the spotlight is a curse, not a shield. Their names make them targets, not legends. And survival depends on alliances that can turn deadly overnight. Which leaves the haunting question: was King's own high-profile status the very thing that sealed his downfall? People close to the chaos say this was never just about King himself. It's about the baggage he carried through those prison gates. The Harris name, the reality TV drama, the scandals, the reputation of being TY's loudest, wildest son. It all walked in with him. And to men serving real time, jealousy and score settling made King a lightning rod from the second he walked in. Multiple correctional officers have quietly admitted off the record that high-profile inmates like him are often used as pawns in power plays between rival factions. He became a pawn in someone else's game, said one source who did time in the same Georgia system. To them, King wasn't just another inmate. He was a trophy, a warning, and a message all rolled into one. Add in whispers of a busted contraband deal and the never-ending Harris family scandals, and it's clear, King was swimming with sharks from day one. But this story isn't only about fists and blood, it's about psychological warfare too. Behind those walls, every glance, every whisper, every rumor becomes a weapon. And for King, that pressure was non-stop. Reports say his privileged past made him a target long before he even touched a cell door. Inmates resented him for the private schools, the music video cameos, the access to lawyers, and money they could never dream of. And when King tried to flex, talking tough, posturing like he ran the yard, others saw it as a joke. To them, he wasn't standing on business, he was just a reality TV kid cosplaying gangster. That resentment fed into a bigger pattern, what insiders call celebrity hazing. We've seen it before with rappers, athletes, even actors who got locked up. Fame doesn't shield you. It paints a target on your back. If you step inside with a silver spoon, all it does is make you easier to break. And that's the tragedy here, because King spent years trying to escape his privilege, building a persona tougher than his gated community past. But in the twisted logic of prison, that very act of rebellion may have sealed his fate. And that's where the story leaves us. King Harris caught between survival and collapse. The Harris family tearing at the seams, and the world watching every second unfold like a slow-motion car crash. The stakes have never been higher, and the next chapter could either redeem or completely destroy the dynasty they've built. What do you think? Can King make it out of this storm, or is this the beginning of the end for the Harris legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next explosive update. I'll see you on the next one.